There's something very important I want to discuss with you. It concerns your future. Sit. As time passes, a boy inevitably becomes a man. But what is not inevitable is that a man becomes a sword.
What?
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
Jeff and I are veteran Trekkies, and Dory is a newly minted full Trekkie now. And we are continuing on our journey to show her Star Trek: The Next Generation. Today we're looking at the Season 7 episode, Firstborn. Original air date April 23rd, 1994. And as always, we'll take it to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so we start with Worf practicing a monologue for what is a coming-of-age milestone for Alexander. Mm-hmm. And he is struggling with said monologue. Then the door to his quarters open and Alexander runs in, and then Worf gets nailed with a water balloon by another child.
Yeah.
And apparently Alexander was supposed to meet Worf after school, but Alexander forgot. And Worf said, "You forgot because you allowed yourself to be distracted by foolishness." Like, isn't that, like, Sam?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
truly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, haven't we all been distracted by foolishness at some point?
Yeah. I mean, he is a small child.
Yeah, but Worf doesn't ever see it that way, and we know that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So then Worf says, so he's like, okay, Alexander, down to business. Mm-hmm. And then he says, as time passes, a boy inevitably becomes a man. But what is not inevitable is that a man becomes a sword. Alexander goes, what? And then Worf says, no, I mean warrior. And so Worf tells Alexander that he's at the age of ascension and it's time for him to prepare for the ceremony. Mm-hmm. So Alexander's fighting skills will be tested, as well as knowledge of the teaching of Kahless. And I was like, I know who that is. And so Worf sits him down with all these lit candles called the Kortova candles, and they represents the fire that burns within the heart of a warrior. Mm-hmm. And when Alexander lights his candle, he will be declaring his intention to be a warrior. Mm-hmm. And so Alexander, though, he's like, but what if I don't want to do that? And Worf is like, well,
you gotta.
He says that if Alexander doesn't participate in the rite before the age of 13, he will never be able to become a true warrior. But Alexander, is not into this. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really want to be a warrior. Worf is visibly disappointed. Okay. So the Enterprise is going to be just kind of hanging out for a bit for reasons, whatever. Mm-hmm. Picard is going to use this time to go visit ruins.
Yeah.
Classic Picard. And this sort of this delay they're just be hanging out for allows other departments to do other shit without interruption. And so then Picard suggests to Worf that maybe use this time to recalibrate the weapons targeting system.
You know, that kind of boring.
Oh, so yes, the recalibrate the weapons targeting system. And Worf just is not paying attention. He's just staring into space. And then he sort of snaps in. He's like, yeah, totally, for sure. Yeah.
I'll get going on that.
Yeah. And so then Picard is like, hey, stay after class, Worf.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And yeah. And so Picard's like, truly, this conversation was peak my entire childhood. It's he's like, I noticed that you through the meeting multiple times you've appeared distracted. And Worf is like, oh, my bad. I have to learn to keep personal and professional lives separate. And then Worf tells Picard that Alexander doesn't really want what I referred to as Klingon bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't really know how else to sort of describe it, but with more violence.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people headcanon Worf as Jewish or the Klingon traditions, like, they see a lot of similarities in Klingon traditions and Jewish traditions. So I don't think it's totally out of line to call it that.
When he was like, you have to do this by the age of 13, I was like, interesting.
Yeah. And to be fair, a lot of cultures have this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like a certain age.
Just
a coming of age
that,
occasion.
Alexander was born like a few years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a point about this for later.
Oh, good.
About
Okay.
timeline. I do want to talk about this later. Yes, I have a point with that. Don't worry, we're gonna get into it. So yeah, he's like, Alexander doesn't want his Klingon bar mitzvah, and Picard's like, hey, Alexander has not had like a ton of time with Klingons, so maybe he just needs more exposure, and then he can sort of have a better understanding where Worf is coming from. And hey, what a coincidence! There's a festival called Kot Baval is tomorrow, right near where they are. Oh my God, what are the chances? And like, go take Alexander to experience what a rich cultural heritage he comes from. So Picard says. And so there's a Klingon outpost on just nearby celebrating the festival, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this was so funny, just to me. Worf points out that it's like, oh, it would take him like 3 days to get there with the shuttle. And he looks at like, I don't want to spend 3 days straight with Alexander. And Picard's like, it's cool. We'll just like circle around over there. And it's like, oh, good. Now you didn't have to spend 3 days straight with your child. Okay, so now they're at the festival, and every shot of this revealed a new person that I didn't anticipate being at this festival. So there's like this like reenactment demonstration. Honestly, I was so confused of what this actually was initially.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because they had these two guys, and I wasn't sure if like one of them was legit, like who they call the tyrant, and someone was legit fighting him, or it was like a reenactment. And because then like there was a winner, and then like Worf volunteers to go in which
you
like
weren't sure, even though they weren't actually making contact.
No, I
with
know.
Their swords?
I just was like, here's where I was thrown off, is that Worf to me has never seen like someone who would go for audience participation. And so,
Well, I think he pushed
and so
through
he
for
was so
Alexander,
like,
I think.
Yeah, he was.
yeah,
doing
maybe,
it for the,
yeah, I guess so.
It's for the children.
I was a little for the kids, do it for the kids.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, while they're watching the little like Worf buys some snacks from an Alexander, and then who pops up? Geordi. You know who else is at this festival? Dr. C.
Yeah.
And so many Starfleet people are there too. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I noticed her in the
people
background.
wanted to
even
go.
though she doesn't have any lines in this
She has
episode.
I think she
Yeah.
had one line. I think she had one single line, and it was like in that scene. And I was just like, wow, every shot a new bridge crew member is revealed.
Yeah. But I mean, if you were the Enterprise and they said, hey, we're swinging by this planet because there's like this really big Klingon cultural festival going on, I think you'd want to pop down.
You want to. Oh, for sure. I just wasn't expecting like so many people, but like listen,
or like all of them
party.
all at once. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Worf gets like I get the fake taken down, and then he like shouts stuff out, and I was like, is he calling for someone else to like take over for him? I don't really get it. Then Alexander steps into the ring, and he takes that guy out, sort of like pretend. And it's cute. And so Alexander has been enjoying himself at the festival, and he finds Worf, and basically just to get money, because this was okay. He's like, I need money because I want to see this guy's head in a box. And Worf is like, what are you talking about? This would be like very, very old. And he's like, yeah, it's like shriveled up and old. Yeah, but I want to see his head in a box. Yeah. And I just was like, this is like, Worf is basically like, Alexander, welcome to your first scam.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
I was like, this is peak of like, hey kids, want to come in my van for some candy?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess
100%.
that's the Klingon version, or
Yeah.
like that, hey kids, you want to come in my van and see the puppies?
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
like-
something that if anyone
'cause
offered
he-
me as a child, I would
Yeah.
have taken up. But
He's basically
my
like-
parents are just,
Hey kid, I'll show you this shrunken head for $50. Like,
yeah,
Hey,
truly.
want to see a dead body?
I mean, basically.
Yeah. But Worf is like, yeah, we're getting scammed and I think it's time to go home.
Yeah.
But Alexander's like, I didn't say bye to my friends. And Worf is like, it's okay. You'll talk to them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Alexander is like, we're going to come back tomorrow. And Worf is like, yeah, like if you want to, sure. And I'm like, oh, that's actually really cute. And also, I should note, and I did note this in my notes, while the fake fight was happening, the reenactment earlier, there was a weird guy lurking in the background.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Which
I've
is
actually seen
important to
that
know.
weird
Yeah,
guy
that's important
in
to
an
know.
episode before, but not as a Klingon.
yeah, that I recognize the actor.
Oh, Maggie, you doubly recognize that actor because he's shown up twice before.
Oh,
He's a reoccurring character in DS9, and he plays a Romulan in an earlier season.
Yeah.
oh, wild. So
Actually,
okay, so they're
sorry. Quick interjection regarding that, since I'm on the topic anyway. Apparently, Jerry Taylor had to kind of fight to get him cast for this because
Oh, yeah?
I mentioned he also plays a character on DS9. Yeah, he did that like 3 weeks ago. And they're just like, yeah, we don't want to cast him again already. And they're like, no, don't worry. He'll be under lots of Klingon makeup. Nobody will recognize him. And, I mean, nobody said anything, so there
Yeah.
you go.
I mean,
listen. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
yeah, I
TNG
feel like
is- well,
they've set the precedent at this point that they're
Yeah.
going to use a guy
Star
for
Trek
multiple
is borderline
guys.
incestuous with how it
Yeah.
uses actors.
Dude, I mean, especially with DS9 and the Jeffrey Combs shit.
Oh
like,
my god.
that was egregious. That's egregious.
So they're heading out, and then 3 Klingons surround Worf and Alexander. I'm like, are they getting mugged? This is kind of insane. So then the lurker from earlier is just kind of like in the background, and then he shoots one of those Klingons. And so then Worf tells Alexander to run, but he just kind of like runs a little bit and then just hides to watch. Which is not a judgment. That's fine. Yeah. It's just reporting what happened. Reporting, like breaking news. Alexander hid.
Yeah, a small child
else is new?
ran away in fear.
Was scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then like Worf takes down these guys, and then like he's starting to like fight them off, and then one goes to like reach for a knife, and then the lurker comes out and he steps on the knife, and he's like, fuck all the way off, you guys. So they run away, and Worf is like, you're kind of familiar. Who the fuck are you, man? And then he shows this ring, and Worf immediately is like, oh yeah, I recognize the ring. You're Kemtar.
Yeah.
And
You're one of my
he's like,
peeps.
yeah, I was,
Basically a Klingon consigliere. Like,
yeah. And he was sent by Kern to protect him, and just wrote, shout out to Kern. It's been a minute. And so Kemtar is, it's the term they use is Jintok.
He's like a
And he-
personal bodyguard.
He's an advisor. He's wears a lot of hats, this guy. To the House of Moog, and they says an advisor so trusted he has become part of the family, which is why he has the ring. So back on the Enterprise, Riker asks Kemtar if he knows who was behind the attack, and he's like, that's none of your business. But Riker's like, actually, one of my officers got attacked, so that absolutely makes it my business.
yeah.
And then Kemtar is like, so there's rumors that are circulating on the home world that an assassination attempt was going to be made on the family of Moog. And Kern sent him to make sure nothing happened to Worf. He tried to contact Worf through subspace, but Worf was not on board, so he decided to go directly down to the planet. And Riker's like, okay, but like, why would you tell us? And then, but Kemtar's like, I literally trust no one.
Yeah.
And so then Worf tells Kimtar that he has full confidence in the officers with whom he serves. So there was like a piece of evidence that was left at the scene, which was the dagger, and the design represents the house of Duras. I remembered it. Yes. I remembered them.
And here's the thing: I did not really remember this episode very well, but as soon as I saw the dagger, I immediately remembered what this was.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, I've never cognizantly watched this episode knowing what happens, because I always forget. So this will be
honestly
interesting.
Really proud of myself for remembering that who these people are. I couldn't remember what they looked like, but I did remember there's like the sisters and then like the younger brother who's shitty. Okay, so yeah, so the dagger has their symbol, and also Kemtar's like, oh yeah, there's also like other evidence that the Dora sisters, Lursa and B'Etor, were behind the attack. And so then he's like, yeah, it's definitely like the motive is definitely to like get Kern's spot on the council. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And we gotta find them. And so Riker's like, okay, well, it appears like they were previously on Deep Space Nine trying to sell some explosives months ago. And Kintar's like, yeah, cool. Riker's like, you can stay on the ship if you want. And he's like, actually, yes, I would like to talk to Worf. So he's like, yeah, I gotta reach out to Kern. But Worf is like, Worf is a Riker guy till the end. I've always said this and I stand by it. And he's like, why were you being so fucking rude to Riker?
Yeah.
Like, he wants to help. And Knur's like, yeah, I was rude by human standards, but don't you remember that Klingons just casually treat each other like shit? Yeah. Don't you remember this, Worf?
Also, this is important to note that he's establishing that he is, like, behaves very strictly Klingon. And that will be a very subtle hint to what's going to happen.
Yep.
So then Katara's like, I hope you're teaching Alexander the Klingon way, because he may be expected to take over the House of Moog one day. And Worf is like, bro, like, I'm doing the best I fucking can.
Yeah.
Like, calm your tits. Like, I truly... And then Katara's like, oh, Alexander's... Yeah, like, I don't need backseat parenting.
Yeah.
And so
actually,
Katara's like, oh yeah, well, Alexander...
I think when he says, does my brother doubt my ability to raise my son as a Klingon? I was like... Geez, Worf, you don't raise your son at all.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, he low-key wouldn't be wrong to want to say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe,
just not maybe for the reasons in universe that we would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, wow, is he gonna like do the Age of Ascension thing? And Worf is like, Alexander's not really interested in that. Alexander, to me, screams of like a kid who wants to just like lock himself in a room and play Legos for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Which is like just a thought, which is neither like here, just
it's neutral.
A neutral thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just feels like a kid who would like Lego.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And so Kimtara was like, hey, what if I help to convince Alexander to do the first rite? And so he's like, I'm going to go say goodnight to Alexander. And oh my God. So we see Alexander's room. I mean, we see just part of his bed, and there's a framed picture of his mom, of Kayla there. I was like, oh, my queen.
Yeah.
May her memory be a blessing. So Kimtar tells Alexander about the homeworld and his like family there, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, pretty scary what happened today. I bet you wanted to jump in and help. And someday, if you work hard, you could become a warrior, a Klingon warrior. And then you'll always feel safe because you will know how to defend yourself. And I'll tell you something else. If anyone ever tries to hurt your father again, you will be able to fight at his side and make sure nothing happens to him. And again, Alexander is not super convinced. I think he might be a pacifist. And I'm like, listen, on board. And Data, so then later Data reports to Riker that there's really nothing.
This, that scene where he's talking to him is...
Yeah.
I fucking teared up.
It's a good scene.
Because, like when I'll just I won't say what it is, but I'll just say this episode involves a big reveal. And so watching this is the first time where I've like really remembered what the big reveal is. And then so I can't really talk about why this got to me.
Now thinking about it, yeah. I thought it was like a little bit like, honestly, when I watched it, I thought it felt like a little bit like low key manipulative. But now that I know what happens, it's a little different. Okay, so Data reports to Riker that there's nothing but the Dora sisters after a departure from DS9. So Riker calls Quark, so Ferengi from DS9, and he's wearing a cool Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dream
For the record, Quark always dresses like that, so that's what you get to look forward to.
I love it. I'm on board.
Yeah,
listen, I like the coat.
He's a main character on DS9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, so this is the second DS9 crossover they get. I forgot they get 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when Riker mentioned Deep Space Nine, I'm like, oh, okay, they're still trying to get people over to watch to watch it.
And so then Quark tries to like kind of extort Riker. He's like, you want information? How about you pay me we do something about those vouchers I gave you.
Yeah. We settle our debt, you know?
Yeah. But then he tells Riker that he heard a rumor that the sisters were trying to buy some secondhand mining equipment. They learned of a magnesite deposit in the Calla system, and it belongs to Packlids, who don't really know it's there. So they're like, cool. They look it up. It'll take about 16 hours to get to the Calla system. So then Kimtar congratulates Riker for finding the sisters, as he didn't think it could be done. And I just was like, this is feeling kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
This is,
it
is. I wrote, what have you done? Betrayal? ?
Yeah.
So,
it's very suspicious reaction.
Sketchy. Yeah. So Kemtar set up a program in the holodeck for Worf and Alexander. It's basically just the setup of the Worf assassination attempt from earlier. And Kemtar says to Alexander, you said you wished you had been able to help your father fight, but you did not know how you have probably fought that battle over and over again in your head. And then Alexander says, yes. And then Kimtar says, let's see what happens now. So then 2 Klingon warriors appear for Worf and Alexander to fight. So Worf immediately takes the guy down. And then and Alexander's fighting the other guy, but then Kimtar freezes it. So then he points out to Alexander, these are the weaknesses and blah, blah, blah. And I wrote in my notes, if this whole assassination attempt is just to get Alexander to do the first right, I'm going to be pissed. I'll leave that there. So Alexander then eventually takes the guy down, but then they're like, all right, kill him. And Alexander, a child, is like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, not really feeling killing a person today, even though it's holodeck.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah, and so then Kimtar kind of goes off on Alexander, that he's like, you should have killed this guy because he would have killed you, and he doesn't care that if you show him mercy. And I'm like, Jesus, calm down, stop trying to make a child kill someone.
Yeah, this also hits way different when you know the reveal.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so then the Enterprise is approaching Calla 3 and the evidence of machinery. And what Data says, a shaft cut out of crust. It's not funny, but for some reason, the way he said it, I found funny. So yeah, there's mining machinery, but it doesn't seem to be in use. So then an away team is then sent down to the mines, which is Worf, Data, Geordi, and I wrote a loose end because I assumed that this random guy was going to get killed. No,
Worf,
there was no
Data,
fight.
Geordi, and
so they meet
Ricky.
Gorda.
Yeah.
Okay. So they meet Gorda, who's just a guy.
Yeah.
He says he crashed onto the planet and he might know where the sisters are and might be willing to cut a deal because it's personal code of conduct won't let him like just give information for free. And then Geordi goes, does your personal code of conduct tell you that when you're stranded on a planet with no way off, you shouldn't try to cut deals? And then Gorda's like, you have a point.
I'd like to point out
So
that
then
this is
Data
the second
off-
scene in this episode where they're, for plot reasons, they have to deal with some like skeezy alien, and they're really having fun with these scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, up until this point, I was pretty on board. I was like, this is fine. It's not like amazing, but I'm on board. So Data then gives him a deal that, listen, we'll like take you with us on the Enterprise, but you gotta tell us what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
What was going on here. So Gorda explains sisters took the ore and then went to sell it to a Uridian trader, and they were supposed to meet him in the Ufandi system, but they just like left him there. So then now in 10 forward, Kimtar apologizes to Worf for the like aggression screaming at his child in the holodeck. And so then I wrote, why isn't Troy in this episode?
Yeah, that's true.
Because I was like, she actually does show up and later, but I was like, this feels like, assuming that Troy and Worf are still together, this really feels like a really good episode to have had like Troy put her 2 cents in.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
I feel like this would have been actually really, really interesting having Troy
a therapist.
Yeah. But also as now that she's kind of like becoming part of their family unit, that like I feel like her input would have been really helpful or interesting at the very least.
She's already Alexander's godmother.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why she was just like not part of this whole storyline.
Yeah, because it feels like Worf would have at least approached her, like, and asking her advice at some point. Even if she was like, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to get involved or whatever. I feel like Worf would have approached her in the least.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's asked her for like stuff like assistance or advice before. I don't like this is the one time where he really, I don't know.
So there are reasons actually that what do you call it, that she's not in the episode, and they basically all come down to the fact that the episode went through being a lot of ideas before it became what it was. But I'll get into that a little later.
Troy is in the episode.
No, I understand that.
But,
I mean,
just
in
like,
terms of
not
in
a part
terms
of
the way that
Worf's
the
story?
plot goes and who it, and
okay,
who's
gotcha,
involving
gotcha.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, Kimtar is like pissed that Kalar didn't really teach Alexander about Klingon anything, and Alexander is behind in his like fight training, and also he then suggests sending Alexander to training academy, and he would be able to like live like a Klingon. And Worf is like likes the idea of Alexander learning more like Klingon life, but like ultimately he's like, the Enterprise is our home, he belongs with me. Which is like, I got like
he literally he considers the school for 2 seconds and then is like, no, obviously not.
Yeah. And so then Kimtar is like, oh, Alexander's not prepared to lead or defend the family. And it was like, what the fuck, man? Calm down.
Yeah.
And Kimtar does not like Worf's stance. And he's like, yeah, well, he would be like well within his right to invoke Yanora Core, which I guess is like some version of
like trying to take custody or something.
Yeah. It was weird, but Worf gets like pissed and he goes, you would question my fitness to raise my own son? And then Kimtar is like, yeah, for the good of Alexander. And like, what? I was just like, this was actually kind of like, what's that? No, I was like getting pretty like worked up with this.
I also want to note that he says that Alexander told him that Kalar never taught him anything. We do not see that happen. The conversation they showed, that exchange doesn't happen. And we are given no indication that they've talked any other time.
Yeah.
So that's something interesting to note.
Yeah. So Kimtar, then he's with Alexander and he starts to retell Alexander the story about Kalis, but Alexander's like, yeah, no, I know this story already.
Yeah.
And then he starts to ask some questions about like certain stuff in the story about like Kalis and his brother's actions and motivations. And Kimtar like immediately shuts him down. And Alexander is like, what? This doesn't make sense. And Kimtar is like, it's important for warriors to be able to interpret these stories. And Alexander's like, yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah,
but he's like, no, you're just going off of human notions about how things are. And he like really tries to make Alexander feel bad about being different because he is part human, part Klingon. But like just looking at him, he wouldn't be seen as like, you know, he's there's no other children or people like him on board.
Yeah, he'll
and
be
just
like,
the way that
they'll never see you as human. They'll only see you as Klingon. Like, so come to, like, we accept you as Klingon, so come to the Klingon side.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. I did not like this. And yeah, he just keeps like hammering this. And then he like brings up, he's like, hey, there's like a Klingon school you could go to where you could learn warrior shit. And Alexander's like, I don't think I really want to do that. I want to stay on the Enterprise. But Kimtar is like, you gotta go. Everything depends on it. And then Alexander runs out. He's like, oh, he thought that, what the fuck did I write? He thought Kemtar mentioned, is that mentioned? Oh, fuck. I don't know what I wrote. Anyways, Alexander runs out. He's upset, understandably.
Yeah, because the crux of it is that the story of Kalis, Alexander questions, like, oh, like, why did they have to fight or whatever? And he's like, because, his brother, Kalis' brother, made him look like a coward. And Alexander's like, well, if they had, like, talked to each other and, like, they could have explained to each other, like, what they thought happened, like, maybe they wouldn't have had to fight at all. And What's-His-Face is like, no, he was a coward. Right? Yeah. So that's the level of disagreement here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So back on the bridge, Data spots Iridian freighter by a planet, and he confirms a resonance signature indicates there is magnesite on board, but the freighter only has 500 kilograms when they're pretty sure that the sisters have like 10,000. So then this is where Troy appears, and I just wrote, Troy in this episode, why isn't Worf talking to her about anything?
Yeah.
And so then Riker calls the freighter, and Yog answers, why are we speaking?
Yeah. And by the way, to Jeff's point earlier, this is now the third, like, wacky,
like, it sure is,
sketchy dealer.
Yeah. So Riker then is like, they're talking about the ore, and he's like, I got a buyer, and Riker's like, cool, I don't care. Because he's like, what happened to the people you sold it from? He's like, I don't know, that was a long time ago, whatever. And then he's like, okay, then like I'll buy it from you. And so he buys the ore for some gel. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Something biomimetic gel. Yeah, and half a gram of it. So to really show you how valuable this shit is.
Yeah, and so Riker then requests that the ore be beamed like directly off the starboard bow, and Data's like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
what?" But then they beam it out, and so we see it outside in space, and so then Riker's like, "Fire at that ore," and so they do so, and explodes in a bunch of like glitter, and then we're able to see there's a cloaked Klingon bird of prey hiding out there. So Riker then puts the tractor beam on the ship, and then Troy was like, how did you know that? How did you do that? And he was like, yeah, the Iridians only had like part of the shipment in their hold. Yeah. I realized that we had arrived before they had completed the transfer. So the Dora sisters, they were in the bird of prey, and they're on screen, and they're like, what the fuck? We're just doing a simple business transaction. What the fuck? And I forgot about the boob window.
Yeah.
I forgot the super prominent like boob window.
The quote unquote Klingon cleavage with a K.
Oh yes. Yeah. But so they're like, yeah, tell us about what the fuck's going on, why you trying to kill Worf, and they're like, we don't fucking know anything about that.
Yeah. We wish he had died, but like that was us.
They're like, well, they missed.
Yeah.
So then Riker's like, yeah, come aboard the ship. We've got some evidence and we'll show them. And they're like, okay. And at this point, I thought Riker knew this was a sham. He did not. I don't think he did at this point. He still was like, he thought it was a sham because I thought this was a sham.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, based on Riker's like discussion with them, I was like, oh, okay, so he knows something's up.
Yeah, to be fair
but
to
he
Riker,
didn't.
he hasn't seen like all of his behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Riker, I thought we were on the same page. We were not. So then Worf shows the sisters the dagger, and they're like, oh, someone is absolutely trying to frame us. And Kimtar says, yeah, but there's more evidence on the homeworld. And I'm like, this is getting to be very suspicious even more, because like, you're not saying what this evidence is. You've said twice, oh, there's more evidence on the homeworld. Girl, what evidence?
Yeah. And he's like, I must immediately leave.
Yeah. So then the sisters are like, wait, let's take a closer look at the dagger. And then they point out that the symbol is like on the hilt. It's like, oh yeah, it represents their father, the two sisters, and a son, but they don't have a son. And then one sister is like, yeah, I am pregnant though.
Yeah.
But she only found out a few days prior and only told her sister. So they don't really understand what the fuck is going on with this knife. And neither did I. I was like, what does this mean? This is very strange. So then we cut to Kimtar entering Alexander's room while he's sleeping. And he has this fucking weapon to shoot him. And thankfully, Worf shows up like just in time and tackles Kimtar to the ground. And Worf is like holding him down. And then Kimtar drops a fucking bomb on Worf. He's like, I'm really adult Alexander.
Yeah.
And
he's
Adult
Alexander
Xander.
from the future.
Yeah. And oh yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And this is when my first thought, sadly, was I think the show may have jumped the shark. I don't know. I don't like what the deal is with this. So okay,
I'll have to say that I did kind of like it. Like, I liked watching this episode knowing that he was Alexander the whole time. So it made okay.
Yeah.
In my defense, because I do think intellectually you are correct. In my defense, the reason this episode got to me, knowing that he was Alexander the whole time, is that I am very sensitive to anything that's being able to talk to your younger self and that kind of shit. Oh, heal the family wounds and get your parents to really understand you. Like, that shit gets to be so hard. So as cheesy and as jumping the shark as this is, it's still like, this episode like managed to really find the chink in my armor.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Dory, you're absolutely right. It's lazy.
I did not like this. 'Cause initially I wrote, we dealing with actual time travel or just bullshit? And then he's like, yeah, I'm Alexander from 40 years in the future.
Yeah, they're basically we're not going to explain it.
Then, yeah, he's like that. And then I wrote, that actually would explain why the sun is on the knife. But then Worf is initially not convinced, which is valid because this is an insane declaration to make to someone.
Yeah.
So he's like, what was Kalar's last words? And then like, adult Xander, is that what you said, Jeff? I didn't make a nickname for
Adult
this. I just
Xander,
kept Kimtar in all my notes just to make it easier for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
So he really fucking sets a scene, and he gives the before, during, and after
he
of what happened.
Eloquently and poetically retells the last moments of her life.
And to as this is going to be something we'll talk about after, does mention he was 3 years old when this happened.
Listen, Alexander's age is a big.
Yep.
Everyone knows it's messed up, and it will only get worse, Dory.
Oh,
Yeah, he's supposed to be like 10 in this episode, and it's like, why?
Yeah. But Worf believes him after this, and so then Kimtar basically explains that he met some guy and he was like, he gave him a chance to change the past. And so he had the ability to send him to this time. I initially thought, I was like, what if it was that weird, like that guy that Wes went off with?
Oh, the traveler.
That's the first, yeah, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, how crazy if that's the guy. And yeah, so he got sent to this time, and Worf is like, oh, to like end your own life. And I swear, this guy doesn't understand time travel rules. It was very annoying. And he's like, yeah, I was hoping that he could change things because he could maybe change himself. Because essentially, he does become the head of the family, the Moog, family of Moog, whatever. And he Alexander doesn't do the rites. This adult Alexander doesn't do the rites.
He doesn't become a
warrior. He becomes a diplomat. And he says diplomat and peacemaker with such disdain that it's like he said serial killer or something. Yeah. I don't know. It's very strange. And anyways,
and keep in mind, he's talking about himself. He's disgusted with himself.
Yeah, so in this future, he decided to like, he was going to end all like all these like the big family feud, Steve Harvey style. No, I'm kidding. He made like a declaration that they're just gonna they're not doing this anymore.
Yeah,
and like, so that was perceived.
We'll be the first ones to stop. We'll be the ones to say like, we're done, all is forgiven, etc.
Yeah, and so that was seen as weak, and then someone killed Worf.
Yeah.
So he's like, we can't let this happen again. We can't I can't like have you die in my arms. And Worf is like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, you tried to like warn me that I shouldn't show back then he tried to show like weakness, but he thought that Worf was a foolish old man and was like a relic, but he didn't listen. He's like, I can do whatever I need. I can just say shit and it'll work. So then Kemtar staged this assassination attempt to try to scare child Alexander into becoming a warrior. So I was right that this was like complete bullshit.
Yeah.
That part I did figure out pretty early. And if Kemtar had listened to Worf, there would be what did I write? Oh, he would be a warrior and Worf would not have died in his arms. So then Worf...
Yeah, so he basically wants to sacrifice himself to save Worf in the future.
Yeah. Which is like very dumb, and I guess we'll talk about this after. I have lots of problems with this plan. And then Worf says, no, who knows what the future will be now that you have disrupted time. I may die tomorrow, or I may outlive you, but when I die, I would like an honorable death, and the only way that is possible is for you to accept yourself as you are and stay true to what you believe. The cause for peace is a just cause. The struggle must continue. And then Kemtar says, it is a futile struggle. I cannot change things. And then Worf says, you have already changed things more than you realize. And then Kemtar says, the boy I was has not changed. And then Worf says, but I have. You have given me a glimpse into my son's future, and I know that he has his own destiny, and I believe it will be a great one. And then they hug, and then I just heard Alexander as an idiot.
Yeah.
And then
no, but do you imagine your parent acknowledging they were wrong and then changing?
That is
just
listen.
Ow.
You have no idea what that would be for me right now. Worf then, so the last scene, we cut to Worf entering the holodeck and he finds Alexander practicing. They're in the same like assassination attempt location. And Worf tells Alexander that Kemtar left. And Worf says, he asked me to say goodbye for him. He also wanted me to tell you that no matter what happens, no matter what you decide to do with your life, he will always care for you a great deal. And then Alexander says, when will I see him again? And then Worf says, it may be a long time. Lol. And then Alexander says, well, we should start practice. And then Worf says, Alexander, there will be plenty of time for training. And then he takes the weapon that Alexander was holding, and he and Alexander just leave the holodeck. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I wrote was, he should have asked Alexander what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He just was like, Alexander, don't worry about it. Let's not do this now. Mm-hmm. But what if he wanted to? Why did you just ask him what to do when he wants to do?
Because that would be silly.
I don't know. Like, honestly, I was pretty on board with this until the reveal that this was adult Alexander. That really kind of soured me on this, because this is very much like wrote themselves into a corner. And
Okay, so that's actually not what happened.
I also don't...
What happened was that...
Okay, then they did a bad job.
No.
Yeah,
So,
but I will say, like, watching this, knowing the reveal and just accepting it for what it is, there's a lot to enjoy, in my opinion. I know it's silly and stupid, but I think there's some value.
Maggie, I'm with you on this. I don't think it's a bad episode, but I do think that the reveal is a cop-out, and it resolves itself far too quickly, as the other problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a mystery in and of itself, it's, like, really, really stupid.
Yeah.
But if you know going in, it's a lot more interesting.
Well, I didn't know going in, and
I know.
That reveal was
I'm trying to, like, validate your feeling about it. Even though my experience was, like, very different.
I think I had too many questions related to this time travel stuff, because we know it... number one, I don't really like time travel stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before. Time travel stuff, there's too many loose ends that
also,
confuse
Star Trek
me.
is really inconsistent about it, in that they can't decide whether everything's a predestination paradox, or if you can just go back in time and change things and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also with this, like, all I could think about once he gave his story was that he met a guy who I was like, how are you getting back? Mm-hmm. Same guy going to bring you back? What's that? What's happening there? What's the mechanics? How is this guy able to do this? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he doesn't go back. He's just part of this universe now. I mean, he never shows up again, but he's part of this universe
He just gets to go do something else now? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. It would be nice if they,
that's
did
why
anything at all.
That's why
with
if you're the type of person who can't be like, you know what, whatever, fine, then time travel shit is not for you.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I can't do whatever, fine for time
So,
travel.
Dory,
yes.
the entire plan around Alexander being, like, the reveal being that this was an older Alexander, that's what they started with and worked backwards. That was their entire idea, and they had no idea how to turn it into an interesting story.
Yeah.
They just really wanted to do that idea. So here, let me lay this out.
I think there is a way to do it, but this wasn't really it.
So here's what happened. They started off buying a script idea from somebody that was it was like a Romulan ship that was, like, painted with Federation colors, and fucking Riker was on board or something from the future. And it turned out that it was going to be like a Trojan horse story where the Romulans were trying to chick everyone. And they didn't love that idea. They couldn't turn it into anything interesting, so they just kind of shelved it. But they were like, I don't know, the idea of, like, a surprise future thing is a little interesting. What can we do with that? Mm-hmm. And so they came up with this idea of Alexander falling into a time portal and aging 25 years and having to deal with being in, like, the regular, like, back where he grew up, and having to deal with his younger self and, like, what he became and all of that. And the writers really liked that idea. But, like, they really liked the idea of dealing with an older Alexander, like, coming to grips with the child that he was. And Michael Piller took that idea and said, absolutely fucking not. You are not stealing a child's childhood away from them. That is a monstrous thing. We cannot build an episode around that. And so they came up with another way to do it in which they weren't stealing his childhood away. So, I don't know.
I'd argue the point of this episode
was to steal his childhood away.
Well, kind of.
The moral lesson of this episode is to just let him be a child.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I just because he wanted to, he's going to try to kill him, younger him. So that's for me that he was trying to take a childhood away at the end of the day.
the character, but like the the episode itself is trying to say.
Oh yeah,
is that he is wrong for doing this, and that like you should just let him be a kid.
It's interesting. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. I don't think it. I think a lot of the episode got executed really well, and then we got to the reveal, which they could have removed a little bit of the plot, I think. Maybe even some of those fun but still pointless scenes with like the random skeevy guys, so that they could spend more time at the end with Kimtar actually like maybe trying to connect with Alexander and like leaving some sort of like what do you call it? Leaving some sort of like positive influence on him, in which he comes to a realization about himself as well. That would be good, I think.
Yeah.
But instead, it's relating him entirely to Worf, and I don't think that's fair. And I don't think it makes for a good wrap up.
But I think, I mean, there's a lot of times where characters that are related to another character are there simply just for the benefit of that character.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I do think Alexander. I think it's fine if Alexander as a character only exists to like teach Worf lessons or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a very standard thing.
Yeah,
to happen.
I agree with that.
I think they could have done one thing. They could have added one scene, and I think it would have fixed the entire episode.
Okay, I want to hear this.
Yeah, in my opinion, because my main argument in favor of this episode is that when I was watching it, knowing the twist, I enjoyed it a lot more.
Okay.
So I think what you do is you just squeeze in a scene at the beginning where you just reveal the twist right off the bat. You don't make this a big reveal. You tell the audience what the twist is.
Oh.
Keep the characters in universe, in the shadows about it.
Okay.
But the audience knows.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so
I don't disagree with that.
I think turning this into a big twist was the mistake. I think if you'd told the audience at the beginning what this is, it would have worked from first viewing. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that definitely would have changed the entire context around all of the scenes that happened. So, yeah, okay. Okay, I like that.
Because when I'm watching this and it's like and he's having that like, quiet conversation with him, he's like, "Oh, he's talking to himself. He's literally talking to himself as a little boy."
Right, yeah.
And then like when he freaks out on him later, it's like he's freaking out on himself. He's freaking out on what he thinks his mistakes were. On what his regrets are.
Yeah.
When he's appealing to Worf to let him go to the school, it's like he's fighting for himself. He's like, I wish I could have changed this about myself.
This is Alexander that he's reacting with.
Yeah. And the reason I pointed out earlier about how, he tries to establish early on that he's like, sticks very strictly to Klingon behavior, that is immediately dropped. Because, like, he goes to Worf and, like, apologizes. And, like, they work it out by talking and shit like that. And it's like, that's not what a Klingon would have done.
That's right, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of these clues where it's like, that's not what like, all the other Klingons we've seen, besides Worf and Alexander, would not behave this way.
Right.
And then there's the multiple instances of him saying, like, Alexander told me. Well, Alexander told me this. Alexander told me that. But we were never shown Alexander actually telling him those things.
Right.
It's because he already knew. Because it's him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, so... I thought the way they threaded that through was really well done. And it's like... And as I mentioned earlier, that's just like a concept of, like, being able to go back and change things, being able to talk to, like, who you used to be... That sort of things is like a very specifically, like, for me, like, it gets to me a lot.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah. So that's my defense of the episode.
All right. Well, I approve of that defense. I think that's a very good argument.
Yeah, but I also don't think Dory's wrong. Like, this is her experiencing it for the very first time, and it was not enjoyable.
I think that it's inevitable that an episode becomes a sword. Wait.
Episode becomes a warrior.
So Dory, fun little background fact that is going to break your heart. Kalar was almost in this episode.
I would have cried though.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. What they were going to do is actually have Kalar be the one to rescue Alexander at the end.
Hey, yeah, why did he go back in time to save Worf, but he wouldn't go back in time to save his mom?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think it's implied that he's angry at her right now because she didn't teach him about Klingon things.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, that's
good
his
point.
problem. Do it for me. Save your mom for me.
Anyway, they couldn't actually arrange it with her in time, and
Yeah.
in the end, they felt like, oh, the context that they gave is enough. It wasn't
Yeah.
enough.
To be fair, I think it is a better decision to have it be Worf. Like,
Oh, yeah, I
Worf
think so,
learns
too.
the lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Worf
yeah.
actually has to change the way he approaches parenting Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a more interesting way to take it.
Yeah, I really like that Worf did fucking learn something from this, and I did like this speech, at the end with the let me go back at my notes. About the I have so many pages of notes. Find it. Oh, the that like just like Worf knowing this information now will now be an influence on like
Yeah.
how he goes forward with Alexander.
Yeah.
But like I hope it doesn't but based on what Worf has sort of said in this last couple scenes, like I don't think he's going to push him to become a warrior, but maybe he would like teach him to like be able to defend himself in his like back pocket or something just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't
But
think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. I think like my frustration with this is by the time the reveal came around, I was already so mad with Kimtar that like when they revealed that he was adult Alexander, I was like more pissed off. I just was like, I'm already really angry at this guy. You just had him try to kill a child.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, because also like I mean, I know there's different kinds of time travel rules, but like if he kills Alexander,
Yeah,
what
it's
happens
like
to
then he
him?
won't grow up to go back in time and yada yada yada.
yeah, does he not like disappear too? I don't think he for this so far in the future and access to so many different kinds of time travel stuff.
Yeah,
He does not seem to understand time travel rules.
Yeah,
and also one of the biggest thing was you're not supposed to interact with yourself.
yeah, that's if you care about not changing things, but he deliberately wants to change things.
Well, he did a bad job of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he helped Worf, but
Yeah.
okay, but also sorry, Maggie, go ahead.
No, I just lost what I was gonna say. What were we talking about again? Like
Time travel.
time travel, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember. Okay. One thing I will say that could be a possibility that makes this like not as stupid is that he is being guided by like extreme grief. So he is not thinking logically. So I don't think it's necessarily unreasonable that would not have occurred to him. That like, oh, like if I kill myself, then I won't grow up to go back in time and kill and it just can't happen. So
I have a question that maybe this is just I don't understand how succession works in Klingon. Why would Alexander be in charge if Worf is still alive?
I think you can voluntarily like say, hey, this person's leading the family now. Like I think you can retire from leading the family.
Or maybe
I guess.
Worf got like X-nayed or something like
Okay.
that. It wouldn't be the first time that he got fucking
Worf didn't get enough
exiled from
votes.
being
Yeah.
a Klingon.
Yeah, okay. So that makes sense. Okay, so I think okay. One of the things this episode made me want to like roll my eyes back into my head was when Alexander gives the whole description of Kalar's last moments. How like at 3 years old, maybe it's different with Klingons, but I don't think you were able to remember quite such a like. From my understanding,
3
is that
a
you
little-
really only, like when you're 4 years old is when you start to like remember, have like somewhat of a more tangible, like long term, like four
Look,
four
dude,
seems to be
Klingons
the
aren't
consensus. So the fact that you can give like an entire, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a Klingon thing.
Yeah.
But
It's
like,
also not unheard of for people to have memories from that age. It's
be able to
very rare.
reenact an entire ass scene
I don't know.
with exactly like that to me just seemed. And he was 3 when that happened.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. I really have to go to the bathroom.
How old is Alexander? No one will know. He's just Alexander. He is anywhere between 5 and 12.
Alrighty,
Who
fair
the
enough.
fuck knows how old Alexander is? Because, like, what season
Is it like season 2 or 3?
did...
I don't know. I feel like the lighting was very season 2, but hold on. Reunion. Oh my god. Dory, it's season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she doesn't die until season 4.
What? What? So Alexander could not be... So by that logic,
That's right.
it's only been
no,
3
less
years.
than
He
that.
should be
It's-
6
it's
years
been,
old.
Like,
How does
was
he...
he 3 in that episode? Does that even make sense? Hold on. Because
He
the
said
emissary
he
is in
said
season
that
2,
like
at the
I don't
end
know.
of
I don't know if
season
he
2.
really was.
So
but
there's like
he's...
a year and a half between when she gets pregnant and when she dies.
Listen, they said in this episode, adult Alexander literally says
Okay.
that she died when he was 3 years old. So that's where I'm getting 3 from. So my then question is, if he's like, how he would technically be 6 years old, because we're assuming everything has been. No, we're not assuming. Things have been in regular time, because Dr. C has mentioned with time recently. Wesley has mentioned with time recently. The time that they've been on the ship has been mentioned this season a few times. So we know they are doing like not real time, but kind of real time. And so he would be logistically like only 6 years old.
Right.
But obviously that's not a 6-year-old playing Alexander. And you're not going to start prepping a 6-year-old for something that like needs to happen before you're 13. Because you literally would then be spending like half your life prepping for this, as if you're 6 needing to do something by when you're 12 or something. That's wild. This is truly wild how they
Klingons are weird,
fully
man.
just like completely fucked up his age situation. Or he could be, or he could be that thing of like where he is 6 years old, but he just looks a lot older, because like at the beginning wasn't Worf supposed to be in his early 20s? I'm losing my mind over this time thing, because Jeff just said that they found that
I thought it was so much
Kalar
earlier
didn't
'cause
die
the
until
lighting
season
on her
4.
is so like
So 4 to
past that.
7.
Yeah.
Alexander should be 6 years old.
When she dies or right now?
No, now he
yeah.
should be 6 years old, because he literally says in the episode that he was 3 years old when she died. Which is why I was like, doesn't make sense how he remembers this entire scene if he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
but he said he was 3. And so that would mean, and because everything else this season, they've talked about like the timeline, everything has been in like relatively real time. So now for this to be like, he in theory should be 6 years old. But that doesn't make any sense because you wouldn't at 6 years old be preparing for something that would happen when you were like 12. So they really fucked up this timeline a tremendous amount.
And as I alluded to earlier, it will also get worse. So we
actually, I fucked up the timeline.
No, don't apologize. You guys didn't fuck up the timeline.
Or did we?
You did it personally.
You're damn right.
Yeah, back in 94, you were like, "Hey guys, hear me out. What if we fuck up Alexander's age?"
Yeah.
God, I feel like I can see, like, if had I known this was then I think like I would have maybe felt differently because I honestly, from watching this episode and then having some of these moments back, like when like earlier I mentioned the scene where he's basically tucking Alexander into bed, and I initially, my thought of that scene was like, he's being kind of manipulative. I thought he was trying to convince Alexander to like become a warrior, and I was like where are we fucking like where are we going with this? This is very, I thought like, oh, he's being nice, but then it started to seem a little manipulative. But now knowing that, oh, it's him, he's not trying to be manipulative for like derogatory, he's trying to like get himself to like learn to protect Worf.
But he has a specific regret that he couldn't protect his father when the time came. So he's trying to make sure Alexander knows how important that is. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't really know what Alexander wants. And I wish that someone would have just been like, what do you want to do, Alexander? Like, what is it?
Alexander wants to throw balls filled with water.
I mean, valid.
But they show that his mindset is not of a warrior, it is of a diplomat.
Yeah.
It's like when they're going through the story of Kalas, he is like, why can't they talk it out?
Yeah. I just also, I wish that, there was just more, I wish there was more focusing on what Alexander the child wants. And what he is going for, what his feelings, because he just was like, no, I don't want to. Yeah. But I think it would have been nice to know, like, why, like, not why don't kill people, but like what is his, like, does he just flat out, he doesn't want to learn to fight? Maybe he wants to like a little bit, or like what is the goal here? What is he vibing with now? What is he like? What does he want to do?
Yeah, I mean,
but instead it feels like, I mean, he's a child. He is anywhere between 6 and 13 years old.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the way I interpret it is that he wants to avoid killing. He wants to avoid death. You know, because he refuses to kill the hologram, right?
Yeah.
So.
There is something I want to point out. The actual actor that is playing Alexander is like, what, 8?
Yeah.
There's only so much dialogue they can give him.
He's 8?
Well, I mean, here, let me figure it out, actually.
And I will say, to your point, Dory, about like knowing in the beginning, and like what I was saying earlier about how I think they could have fixed this episode if they just told the audience what was up, is that there is another episode in a future Star Trek series that basically has a similar plot, but is from the perspective of the son from the future, and it is one of the most like critically acclaimed episodes of any Star Trek.
Oh.
Also,
so, I mean, I don't think
he's 12.
Oh, the actor's 12?
Yeah, he could have delivered the lines. That explains why his acting is actually really competent in this episode.
That somehow sounds like an insult.
Yeah.
Well, he's been really bad in some previous episodes.
But I mean, he's also a child, but like, children are not going to be, you know.
Yeah. And to be fair, it doesn't, like, Alexander isn't, like, he really isn't a straight up no. to this. He's like, he does seem
Yeah,
like
that's
genuinely
why-
unsure.
That's
So-
why I wanted them to explore what Alexander actually wanted, what his thoughts were on
Yeah.
all this, because I think that would be like a lot more interesting rather than it. Like they're making it seem like it's so black and white when like Alexander has never said like one way or
Yeah.
another other that he just didn't want to kill a guy.
I mean,
which
I
is
think,
like that's fair.
yeah, I mean, I think that's the point, is that Alexander deliberately does not want to be black and white.
Yeah. I want to know more what he wanted. But yeah, I truly like I was very on board with this until the reveal and then it just felt very it is interesting that they started with this concept you said earlier, Jeff.
Yeah.
Because to me it very much felt like a
Like we wrote ourselves
quick
into
how do we
one.
figure this out?
Yeah.
How do we wrap this up?
That said, the hints are
they did
there
le-
earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
You just don't realize, like, you don't really put it together
And they're
until later.
Yeah, and they're very baked in too.
Yeah,
the
they are.
hints.
I mean, I don't know that I like. I mean, I guess I don't know. I get sure. I think like
Dory,
the fact that this was like a
would
sham.
you rather
but
watch this
yeah.
episode, or would you rather watch Alexander and Luxana Troy sitting in a fucking mud bath?
Listen, I don't know. She at least looks on as fun. She's real fun.
Yeah, but that's not a good episode.
No, but I don't know. Listen, I say neither.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, you cheater.
Yeah.
Would you rather starve to death or boil to death? Neither. Great.
Starve? I feel like boil would really hurt.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
get like
starving.
blisters. I feel like starving would be, as someone with no medical background, I feel like starving would maybe be less painful than boil, because boil you'd get all these blisters, and I got 2 blisters on my hand from cutting cardboard on the weekend, and that really hurt. And that was me cutting cardboard.
Yeah. Neither is fun.
Yeah,
like,
neither
with-
sounds fun,
with
but I do think
boiling-
starving
Yeah, with boiling,
sounds
you're
like a better option.
You're dying actively, like screaming and in pain, and starvation,
Yeah.
you're kind of like you just
I
give
feel like
out.
you, yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
feel like
it's
you go
going a lot
unconscious at one
faster
point.
if you're boiling.
Yeah, but yeah, I
Like
don't
we're
know.
talking minutes instead of weeks.
Yeah, it hurts a lot though. Like
Yeah,
a
I wouldn't
lot.
Why
Wanna
did I
be
bring
boiled.
this up?
The classic dilemma: boil
Yes.
or starve.
Yeah. Well, this is our train track dilemma. That's how it is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of everything for me. Oh, okay. Actually, that's not true. I will say one other thing. I did like how everyone that like Riker spoke to, all the people being weird, were all like, "I heard a rumor," or like, "or you didn't hear it from me." I like that it was just so like wink wink nudge nudge.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not like, we're not gonna like just say this is like rhetorical or like
yeah. Like they're being very
That
fun
does.
with it.
yeah
It's the actors were clearly having fun in those roles.
yeah yeah I guess that is kind of it for me.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
pretty
same.
much said everything I needed to say. And I do like the one last thing I will say is I do just to expand on like Worf's like sort of speech at the end. I just like that the lesson is that like he's seen now what Alexander becomes if he gets his way. If he's successful in pushing molding into Alexander what he wants, that he will no longer be Alexander. And that he can't let that happen. He loves Alexander too much to let that happen. So he has to change. If he wants to keep his son, like, he has to change. So I just thought that was really good. Yeah, so time to move on to favorite moments and lines.
I liked when Worf. Oh, I liked Worf getting hit with a water balloon, but I like when Worf said to Alexander, "You forgot like to meet him because you allowed yourself to be distracted by foolishness." Very relatable.
Yeah.
I liked as time passes, a boy inevitably becomes a man, but what is not inevitable is that a man becomes a sword.
I mean, he's right. That's not inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the festival was cute. I liked
Yeah.
that Worf and Alexander got to go down, and seeing Dr. C and Geordi there was cute.
And I will say that, like, when, like, as a person who's, like, a little bit disconnected from their culture, it's like when you go to a festival that, or, like, some sort of cultural event, you engage in your culture in a more significant way, there is something that, like, really invigorates you about it. So
Yeah.
I totally understand why going to that festival would, spark interest in Alexander.
I like how the
And their
the
little,
festival's
like,
kind of lame,
fight
just like a
was
real
cute.
festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Their little reenactment was really cute, like that
Yeah.
little fight. I liked Riker, like all the conversation I said earlier. I like he had all those conversations with like Quark, then was it Yorg or something, Yog, whatever, and then that other guy for the ore, like where he just kept having to make deals with people. I liked that.
Yeah. And the guy they made in the mine is the same race as Shrek, I think. If you remember from the previous,
I do remember.
Episode.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the last guy who was the same race. One of them was the same race as Shrek.
I remember we have seen the Euridians before because
Yeah.
the name was familiar to me.
Yeah, I believe that's them.
I liked Worf's exchange with adult Alexander with the like who knows what the future will be now because you've disrupted time. I may die tomorrow, but then he's like, yeah, he's changed. Like the Worf has changed. You've given me a glimpse into my son's future, and I know that he's his own destiny. I believe it'll be a great one. I really liked that discussion, and I liked that at the end Worf was like, hey, we believe in you to do whatever you decide. We like are on board. That was really cute.
Yeah. Because I think, just another thought occurred to me about, like, the final speech. It just occurred to me that I think Worf realized, like, how much courage it took to, like, be the one to try to declare peace between the House of Moog and the House of Duras. And he finally got clarity that it isn't... What Alexander is doing is not foolish, it's courageous. So I think that's that's when it finally clicks for him, you know. Sorry, were you finished with the your likes?
I think it was nice, like not nice seeing the sisters again, but honestly, the boob window Klingon cleavage was like pretty lols. We haven't seen it in such a long time. So it was just like, hello, friend. It's been a while.
Hello, boobies, my old friend. I see
literally
the
was
pair
thinking
of
about
you again. I like that Worf is questioned about whether or not he's a bad father, not once but twice in this episode, and like stands up with like, "Are you saying I'm a bad father?" And like, yes. Literally just yes.
Yeah,
Worf,
I mean,
you suck.
kinda.
This might be the most parenting that we've seen out of Worf the entire fucking show.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this is like the
Yeah, it's very
closing
funny.
Alexander episode, clearly, since there's only like 4 episodes left of the damn show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wrapping
Exactly,
up their
yeah.
storyline, being like, okay, they're going to try to work through it.
Hey, don't worry, there's more to wrap up. Not for Alexander, I mean, but
Yeah.
there's other things, other loose ends they want to try to tie up.
Yeah. I like that I liked all the interactions between adult Alexander and younger.
Yeah, they were quite
Alexander.
good knowing
Like,
what was
especially
going
knowing
on.
what the
Also, I'm glad they pushed for that actor.
Yeah.
He did a very good job in that role.
yeah. I'm trying to remember who did this actor play before,
This particular actor?
because I feel like he I feel like he
No,
played
no.
someone's
So
father, didn't he?
he plays Dr. Moira in DS9. So that's
Oh,
where you get
yes.
the
Okay,
bad
yeah.
fatherly role out of him that we'll get to when we get to DS9.
Yeah.
In TNG, he's an episode called The Defector, where he plays a Romulan defector.
Yes.
And he
Yeah,
ends
I
up.
remember that now.
It turns out that
Yeah.
they tricked him into defecting in the first place because they suspected that he would.
And the guy they met in the cave, I recognize that actor. Is that the guy who plays
no,
Rom?
it's not. Hold up.
Who is it? I feel like he's definitely played another.
Yeah, I believe
Another
you're right.
character on Star
Give me
Trek.
a second. Let me look him up quickly. Guys, I'm going to the Googlies because I'm not that much of an encyclopedia. I'm sorry. Colin Mitchell has no other Star Trek roles. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I mean,
maybe
it could just
I've
be
seen
that
him in something
his
else.
performance is similar to other actors. So,
It could be.
let's see. What other credits does he have?
Because his mouth shape and his teeth look. I wonder if they gave him
That's possible.
Rom's teeth. Like, not like literally
Yeah,
the same
I could see
dentures, but
that.
like they just made a copy.
He was in L.A.
Yeah.
Confidential. I'm sure you haven't seen that. Oh, okay.
I've seen LA Confidential.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
from
right.
That's the noir
1997?
one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
Oh,
noir one.
apparently
Yeah.
he's.
Yeah.
No,
I've seen
never
that.
mind.
Okay, so I think it's time to move on for predictions for the next episode. So Dory, the next episode is called Bloodlines.
Oh boy.
And the description is, I'm going to read from IMDb, but modify it a little bit. So your tidbit is, Picard races the Ferengi in an effort to track down a relative, a long-lost relative. So, I guess what I'm asking for is, like, how do you think this person is related to Picard? Like, who do you think they are? And, like, why do the Ferengi want him? And did Picard know of this relative?
Lots of secret relatives at the end of this fucking season, aren't there?
Yeah. Sorry, I slipped up. I didn't mean to reveal that it was a he.
It's okay.
Oh, well.
It's okay. Maybe. I always go for like, oh, maybe they have a resource. No, I want to try something different. It's like the Enterprise and the Ferengi would like
Yeah.
want something that this
Yeah,
person
they
might have.
they have the special spark plugs that the Enterprise uses. Like they
Yeah. I want to try to figure something out.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that like maybe I have like one of two thoughts and like I have two thoughts in my head. One is like, what if like, because we never met Picard's dad, right?
Yeah.
So like, what
I
if?
think there's been flashbacks to him. I can't remember.
Yeah. But like we had like kind of a flash sideways of his mom.
Yeah.
In that like one episode in
Yeah, that was
the
a little
beginning.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that my first thought is that what if this turns out that Picard's dad had a second family? So yeah, it's he has just like a bunch of siblings he didn't know. Or alternatively, I like the idea of like but then like they just see a framed photo of his dad and Picard's like, why do you have a framed photo of my dad? And they're like, it's our dad. And he's like, that's my dad. But alternatively, I feel like it should be something with his mom. Just, I'm just glad it's not Robert. Okay, so it's a race against the Ferengi to get to, for something.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Ferengi are trying to get to him first.
Okay. Okay, maybe this guy, this maybe like cousin of like, maybe it's like Picard's cousin on his mom's side. But like but everyone maybe thought he was dead. But like a surprise, he's not. He just, oh, okay. My first thought is like invisibility shit, but like we've talked about cloaking stuff on this already. They've already done. Maybe he has like the like a recipe for something that would help like make things maybe more like fuel efficient on the not fuel efficient. I don't know.
I was about to make a joke that it's like his chicken soup is just that good.
Yeah. They're like, wow, those brownies are amazing. What would they want to race against for? It's got to be something fucking good because the Ferengi are not going to like go after something for nothing.
Yeah.
Or unless it's something that like maybe they would know that the Enterprise wants, or something that maybe wouldn't necessarily be valuable to them, but knows it's valuable to other people.
I see.
I'm just not sure how like a Picard family member. Maybe they just like.
I mean, there's always ransom.
Oh, like they're being held for ransom?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Oh.
I don't know why I gave you
Yeah, seriously.
A scenario?
a scenario, yeah. 'Cause I don't even remember what actually happens.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like a hostage situation to
Yeah,
me.
like I don't remember why they're chasing him, to be honest.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to go with like he maybe has a recipe for something very valuable that like he knows how to make, and he's the only supplier, so people kind of have to go far for it. And maybe like the people who normally distribute they're out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's maybe something that is not like something that Ferengi need. It's just something that they know that they're trying to like step in to like try to become the new distributor, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe he invented like a new weapon or something.
Oh yeah. I don't know about weapon. I feel like I don't know. My brain isn't like, my imagination brain is not going right now.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm not coming with anything good.
that's okay. I think I'll let you off the hook. And yeah, if you want to see if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.